Imagine standing in Rome surrounded by ruins that whisper tales of a mighty empire. You see the Colosseum, the Forum, and towering over it all, the majestic arches of the aqueducts. We think of them as symbols of Rome's eternal genius, marvels of engineering that brought life-giving water to a bustling metropolis of 1 million people. We're taught they crumbled along with the empire, victims of barbarian invasions and the inevitable decay of time. But what if I told you that's not the whole story? The real reason these magnificent structures vanished is far more complex and fascinating, a tale of war, strategy, and even recycling. Let's travel back to the 5th century AD. The Western Roman Empire is on its last legs. Barbarian tribes like the Goths and Vandals are at the gates. It's easy to imagine them smashing these aqueducts in a frenzy of destruction, right? Well, it wasn't that simple. While some damage did occur during sieges, these groups often wanted to rule Rome, not obliterate it. They understood the value of its infrastructure. The real problem started after the empire officially fell in 476 AD. Rome's population plummeted. A city of 1 million shrank to maybe 50,000. Suddenly, there was no longer a massive population to serve, nor a centralized government with the funds, manpower, and engineering know-how to maintain these colossal structures. The aqueducts were over 1,100 kilometers long in total. Maintaining them was a monumental task requiring constant inspection and repair. Without the empire's administration, small leaks became big breaks. Channels got clogged with debris and mineral deposits. It was a slow, creeping death by neglect. As Rome faded, a new power rose, the Catholic Church. Popes became the de facto rulers of the city. For a time, they tried to keep the water flowing. They saw the aqueducts not just as a utility, but as a symbol of Rome's former glory and their own new authority. But the challenges were immense. They lacked the resources of the emperors. As centuries passed, the city's needs changed. People clustered in different areas, often closer to the Tiber River, making the sprawling aqueduct network less essential. Then came a new wave of opportunism. The aqueducts were a massive, ready-made quarry. Why go to the trouble of quarrying new stone when you could just take it from these decaying giants? All across the Roman countryside, people began dismantling the aqueducts, brick by brick, stone by stone. They used these materials to build new homes, churches, and defensive walls. The very structures that had sustained Rome were now being cannibalized to build the medieval world. It wasn't malicious destruction. It was practical recycling in an age of scarcity. But the most dramatic chapter in the aqueduct's demise came during the Gothic War in the 6th century. This was a brutal 20-year struggle between the Byzantine Empire, trying to reclaim Italy, and the Ostrogoths who ruled it. Here, the aqueducts became weapons of war. In 537 AD, the Gothic king Vitiges, besieging Rome, made a fateful decision. To cut off the city's water supply and force a surrender, he ordered his troops to sever the aqueducts. This was a strategic masterstroke. The once life-giving channels went dry. The magnificent baths, the pride of Rome, shut down. Fountains sputtered and died. The Byzantine defenders, led by the brilliant General Belisarius, couldn't repair them under siege. When the Byzantines later counterattacked and besieged the Goths and other cities, they did the exact same thing. The aqueducts became strategic liabilities. For the first time, Breaking them became an act of deliberate military policy. This was the turning point. While neglect had started the decay, the Gothic War delivered a devastating blow from which the system would never fully recover. The once integrated network was now a series of broken fragments. Even after the wars, the story wasn't over. Medieval Rome was a chaotic place, with rival noble families fighting for control. They built fortified towers and castles, often incorporating the sturdy arches of the aqueducts into their defenses. The Aqua Claudia, for example, became part of the fortifications of the Frangipani family. The aqueducts were no longer seen as a public utility, but as private property, a piece of a military chessboard. This privatization made any large-scale, coordinated repair impossible. Each family controlled their little section, further contributing to the system's fragmentation. Meanwhile, nature was reclaiming its territory. Earthquakes, floods, and the slow march of vegetation all took their toll. Roots pried apart the stonework, and soil buried the arches, hiding them from view for centuries. So the disappearance of Rome's aqueducts wasn't a single event. It was a death by 1,000 cuts. It began with the slow decay of neglect after the empire's fall. It was accelerated by the practical need for building materials in the Middle Ages. It was dealt a critical blow by deliberate military strategy during the Gothic War, and it was sealed by political fragmentation and the relentless forces of nature. The image of barbarians mindlessly smashing everything is a myth. The reality is a story of a changing world, shifting priorities, and human ingenuity, both for creation and for adaptation. But the story doesn't end in ruin. During the Renaissance, popes with grand ambitions and renewed resources began to look back at Rome's past. They didn't just want to excavate old ruins. They wanted to revive them. Pope Sixtus V, in the late 16th century, famously repaired one of the ancient aqueduct lines, the Aqua Alexandrina, renaming it the Aqua Felice. He didn't just bring water back to the hills of Rome, he brought back a piece of its imperial majesty. This project sparked a new era of hydraulic engineering, leading to the creation of Rome's famous Baroque fountains, like the Trevi Fountain, which is fed by a revived and repaired ancient aqueduct, the Aqua Virgo. Today, archaeologists and engineers work to preserve what's left, studying them to understand Roman technology. These ancient water lines are more than just ruins. They are a direct link to our past. They teach us that even the greatest achievements are fragile and that their survival depends on constant care, peace, and a shared sense of purpose. The story of their fall and partial rebirth is a powerful reminder of the cycles of civilization itself. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this journey into Roman history fascinating, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories behind the world we see today. Let me know in the comments which ancient mystery you'd like to explore next. See you in the next video.